there's an eclipse coming, and it's in Aries. And well, the moon is right now in Aries and waning. And in a couple days, there's the sun and the moon and Mercury and the North Node all going into Taurus. All while Mars is still unhappy in Cancer. So, where shall I start? Well, first, the easy one, the eclipse on the 20th. The eclipse will be in Aries, the latest degrees of Aries. And because of this, because Aries rules the face and the head, and when you do some word association, it does not just apply, in my opinion, with the Taurus factors there, with just the face and the head. That points right to social media, where even right now, me making this astrology video, it's my face and my head, right? Right, okay. Anyhow, with Taurus in the mix here and in such close degrees, you also have heads of state, guys in charge. Taurus is the bank. You remember the gold standard. That's a Taurian phrase. Okay, so when you have those four factors in Taurus on one day, lots of shit is going to happen with money, with banking, and we might not find out about it. Why? Because a couple days before was an eclipse. Head, face, Taurus, heads of state, heads of the bank, CEOs. What did we just find out with this whole Bud Light crap? The head of a major world corporation is what? Trying to manipulate the whole world with his not apology letter, and then pretty much said, well, fuck it. We're going, go right back to patriotic this and that. Too late, brother. Too late. That is a prodrone. In other words, a preview. The starting energies of what? Mercury in Taurus. Why? He got to go wind back everything. Too late. It's going to take a long time, if it ever is made right, for that company to recover from this. I mean, we're talking billions of dollars lost in revenue. What you going to do, right? So that is just one example of what is to come. On a more personal note, when we're talking about all that stuff in Taurus, and bear in mind, the moon is not going to always be in Taurus. So that 4-planet stellium going to be a very short time, but it's going to have an impact. Because why? The moon is how we feel. With Mercury in Taurus retrograde, it's very possible we're going just blah, 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 blah. Why? Jupiter still in Aries. We're going to talk shit and eclipse, all that kind. And with all that Taurus stuff going on in the 8th house, which is other people's money, wills and legacy, banking, and all that kind, directly across its own house, house 2, okay, the house that Venus and Taurus rules, which is also the house of value, worth, personal, as well as, monetary, which a lot of people still attach their personal value to their their bank account. And what I really want people to think about is all this shit going on with the banks, not just in the United States, but all over this world. With a Taurus Mercury retrograde in the 8th house, out of people's money, how do you think that might be interpreted by me? It could be interpreted by lots of people the same way, where We already are not trusting these banks at all. So, me, I'm just telling people Chime Bank exists. I'm serious. Anyhow, oh yeah, the one thing I didn't mention as well that is also going on right now, the Lyrid meteor shower, the Pleiades, that kind of stuff. That's a Taurian thing, you folks. Okay? So you have all this energy going on up in the sky. And down on Earth, it is playing itself out. How? Well, first of all, people identifying as, something else. Okay, you folks go identify as you will. But what is behind all of that? We may end up finding that out, right? I mean, we could speculate all we like. Like myself, if you ask me, you have to do it privately. I got an email address, someplace you go scroll down. And I will tell you what I think. Lots of people don't like my opinion or my interpretation of this one thing as it pertains to astrology. Okay? Other astrologers tell me you can't say that. The hell if I can't. Are going. Why? Somebody has to. Might as well be me. Anyhow, my interpretation, as I stated, with the Aries and the Taurus and heads of state and the heads of corporation and this head and that head in your face, and we have a good shot at finding out a lot of things that during the eclipse was hidden, we were distracted from, and a week later we go find out what was really going on. All I'm saying is don't be shocked if you hear about more bank closures. Because why? Because the head of the bank over there went lie about how he invested, all of the money from the customers, and now the bank is insolvent and the feds went go take them over. Seriously, if you interpret the astrology the way that, if you put it together, you make one sentence, yeah. Taurus being bank and banking, the gold standard, all that kind of stuff. Aries being, the head in the face, social media. You watch these buggers, this Zuckerberg guy. You watch. We're going to hear something, I think so. Maybe. Maybe not him, because we already found out from this Anheuser-Busch guy, yeah? This brother. His whole underlying thing was, well, let's just go throw the bait out there, see what happens. He found out what happened, yeah? Why? Because the bugger, the guy, the one who looked like one marionette, jumping around in Nike, women's clothes, somehow, some way, head and face, representative now, yeah, Aries. Nobody knew that they was paying this person to be the spokesperson of what? Women's wear. That person doesn't have a need for a bra. And that's all I'm going to say. On the other side of that, they never even know what the hell March Madness is. I know what March Madness is. I don't even like watching sports. Okay, I like to watch golf, but still. Yes, golf, shut up. My whole point here is, without using all those examples, people in power during this time, especially rich buggers, heads of state, all that, expect to be wondering about what the hell more are you hiding from all of us? And what are you going to surprise us with that won't be a surprise? Especially if you wait till the 22nd, right? The 22nd of this month. To actually watch what is going on in the news. And I don't mean, all this alphabet news. I don't know. Go and read news from all over the world. Go and really see what's being said, not by the broadcasters, but what the population has to say. You're going to get so much more out of those people, and go put together the interpretation. You get the head and the face of all these money guys, and this also applies to our own little private lives, yeah? Heads of the family. The one who is like, the administrator of inheritances, that kind of stuff, yeah? Even though some people still alive, wills and things associated with Taurus and banking and kala, money, all right? And people in charge of that, the face, the spokesperson, all that kind of stuff, you're going to see it on the news. You're going to hear about it. You're going to read about it. And you might even be shocked by what the hell you're looking at. But also know that when you have a Mercury retrograde, you see exactly where people are fucking up. Where they're not dotting the I's and crossing all the T's. They just getting through them real fast, yeah? I think one video, a couple videos ago, I mentioned this in the last retrograde video, that I have a friend who signed her paperwork for her house that she would buy. And she told me it was a hard time. I asked her when. I gave her the dates. I said, hey, that's retrograde time. Okay, so people in banking too. Again, well, not a friend. Works at the bank. I'm going to ask her, hey, sister, what is going on with loans? I'm going to ask my son's best friend, him too, because brother works in loans. And all of it, really, the time that it takes for us to get to these places where we find out the truth about certain people and their actions, where and what they've been doing, even if they've been doing it in a very secretive manner. If they do it during retrograde, and all of the sun and all that kind of stuff is in the 8th house, it's not going to stay hidden for very long. So it should be interesting for all of us to see and put together all of this and have this interpretation that we, the people, came up with, and we're not going to be wrong, okay? If you want to know as well about all these things going on in the streets, all the violence going on. Cancer is equated with home. Mars is a very good planet. Just like there's no bad planets. There are signs that some planets don't do very well in. And when you have Mars in Cancer, Mars is the warrior. Cancer is home. Even though that sounds all nice and patriotic, what kind of war we got going on at home over here? Especially with Jupiter in Aries. Okay, Jupiter is expansive energy, yeah? Yeah. So we have this insane amount of violence at home here in our country. And this whole Taurus stellium thing, it could tip it one way or the other. So when I tell you folks, pay attention to your planets, but more than anything else, confirm what you're looking at. Go read them on the news, and don't just read your local news. Read, all kind of different news. Because if you just read one, you already know you're getting lied to, yeah? I know I'm getting lied to. But when you go and read all the different news stories from around the world, you get a sense of what is happening astrologically and how we are all being affected by this. Okay, now, astrology is not some kind of heebie-jeebie thing. It's a clock. It is time. And if you went back 225 years, what was going on? Well, Mars was in Cancer and had, American Revolution and the French Revolution. All this stuff was going on. And what do we have over there in Europe? I said it before. Russia, Ukraine. What is going on? Okay, so what I'm telling you folks is that there's no need to panic unless, hear me now, there's no need to panic unless you're not prepared, unless you're not listening, not paying attention, if you are going along with all whatever the hell this woke crap is. You're better off being aware and awake. Being awake is not the same as being whatever is woke. Okay, and I might get a whole lot of crap for that. I don't really care. My whole point here is pay attention to the things going on around you. Pay attention to the heads of departments, to the heads of the bank, to the heads of everybody in charge. Go pay attention to those guys, okay? Especially if those guys are dirty buggers. And we got a lot of dirty buggers now, okay? For real. Social media, go and read about all of the different guys in charge of social media. We hear a lot about Twitter and Facebook and that kind of Instagram, all that. What about Google? Is anybody paying attention to that? You should be paying attention to that. Not just, techies. All of us. Go see what Google is doing. Go and see what, NASA is doing. Go and see not what the president is doing, but go and see what each of the heads of each department and, all these things. Go and see what those guys are doing. Because the only way you're going to see behind the scenes of this eclipse with all this Taurus and all this crap is to really do some digging. Okay, nobody likes to study anymore. You just go and, okay, there's the answer because so-and-so said so. Fooey. Go look at yourself. All right? Also, like I've said, like I always say, the macrocosm is the microcosm. Check things at home too, within your own family. Extended family too. Anyway, yeah, that was kind of confusing because even I'm confused by what I just said, but I know if I watch what I just said a couple times, it will make sense, at least to me. And again, if you have questions, reach out. I have an email. It's someplace on that About page, but for real, we got a lot going on in the sky, and it is totally affecting every single one of us. And if you pay attention to when all these things happen in the past, you're going to find out we're living through it again. And we absolutely have the choice. We have the choice to change it. And I don't mean the way that it's being changed now. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, again, I'm not going to say it out loud. It's not a secret how I feel about all this identifying as this and that. I'm just going to say, I was born female. I am not a chest feeder. I'm not a birther. I'm none of those things. Those are very offensive, okay? So when we see the face that they put on this Bud Light can, that is kind of subduing the reality that is actual women. Okay, so you don't have to like what you just heard me say, but that is my feeling. And you don't have to believe me. But, you got to kind of believe nature and planets are part of nature. We are not apart from those planets. We are a part of them. Too many people want to believe, I don't believe astrology. I probably don't care, because those are the kind of people who also forget Earth is also a planet, meaning we are not apart from the astrological stuff going on. We are a part of it. This is why I tell everybody, You don't have to trust me. Go read about it. You're like, no, where, how, what? Email me. Until, until I get more stuff to say about the planets and how it's affecting us all here. I know plenty of guys was real crispy. I was real crispy, spicy, crispy kind for the last couple days. If I knew, a little better for the one day that I didn't check the astrology, to check the planets, I might have figured out why. I know why. If you know why, you need to hit me up. All right, then. I see you all later. Aloha.